Greetings for the day. Welcome to another session of Cyber Law and Ethics. My name is Muhammad Rahmat Ali. So, in today's session, we're going to learn about the forensic response team. But before getting into today's topic, let me revise what are the things that we have studied in the previous session. In the previous session, we studied about the digital forensics as well as we studied about the procedure of digital forensics, and we have seen the challenges related to digital forensics. Now, in today's session, we are going to learn about the forensic response control, what actually it is, how it works, and what is the reason why it is being created and why it is being used, and what are the benefits of this. Now, the first thing, or you can say the forensic response team or forensic response control, is used to handle the forensics mechanism, or it is used to control the damage. It is something like a damage control, so that the same thing should not happen in the next time, or the same thing should not be held for the next time, or else they will suggest a policy by which the same thing cannot be repeated. Or in another words, if I can say, this is a mechanism which is being used to avoid the attacks and compromise for the second time or for the next time. Now, what is the first thing that it does? The first thing it does is like incident response planning. If at all something happens at this type of time or at this instance of thing, what should be the next step? What should be the next step? If at all the system is being breached, or the system is being compromised, or the system is being exposed to malicious activities, or else the system is made public, for the different teams, different things, different mechanisms and different planning is been done as with reference to the forensic response control. The second thing it does, it is like identify needs and objectives. Now, this is very important. Now, identify the needs and objective in the sense what is to be reduced, what is to be retrieved, what is to be safeguarded, what is to be blocked, and what are the things that is to be given the access to other people. Like, see, in every of the aspect, whole of the production server cannot be blocked. If at all the whole of the production server is being blocked at one instance, it will not reply to the request that is coming. So what they will do, they will block a part of that particular server and they will work on it, and remaining resources and remaining parts are being released for the people for execution of the task and for the responses. Now, the next one is with reference to the identification of resources or identifying resources. In the sense, resources can be explicit or implicit. Also, with reference to resources, it also includes what are the resources that was being used to attack, what is the mechanism that is being used. Also, it also defines like what are the devices or what are the resources that will be used to control the damage, or to access or to gain access or to control the damage. So this is with reference to the identifying the resources. The next one is with reference to creating of policies and procedures. Now, what do you mean by this? This means if at all something happens, what is the alternative that can be done will be given into policies. That will be given into the policies. Now, policies will tell you the rules and regulations. The policy will tell you the rules of and regulations. For instance, to make you a better difference between the policies and regulations, the major difference is like, if at all if I say every house should be having a lock at their door, this is the policy. This is the policy. Now, what is the rule? The rule is like which type of lock that you will be using, whether it will be 2-threaded, 3-threaded, whether you will be applying the lock for whole of the room or only for one door, X, Y, Z of everything. So these are the regulations. So this is the difference between policies and regulation. Policies defines an overall thing, whereas regulations is the implementations of the policies. Now, it creates policies and procedures, how it should be done and where it should be done. If at all the system has been compromised, what are the policies that will be followed and what are the regulations that will be dealt with. The next one is with reference to the creating or create a forensic protocol. Now, what do you mean by this create a forensic protocol? In the sense, what is the mechanism that we will be using, and what are the set of instructions and what are the set of rules that will be used to execute that particular task. This all things will be defined with reference to the protocol. The next one is with reference to acquire needed skills. Like this is very important for a response team. The skills required, like for an example, your C drive is been compromised. With reference to C drive, you are also copying the data of D drive. This is not what you call a proper way of investigating, or because privacy is also one of the concern with reference to the forensic team. Okay, the next one is with reference to train and monitor. Like for the new recruits and all these things, it like proper training should be given, proper monitoring should be done with reference to the forensic response control things. Now the next one is with reference to the documenting of the scenes. What is to be documented, how it is to be documented, and all of things will be is been mentioned over here. So what it says, note time, date and person present. This is like, if at all, like, this is just like, if at all, if you have seen any of the episode of Crime Patrol, or I can say the best thing is like with reference to the episodes that used to come on Sony TV, CID. If at all, if you know that particular thing, this slides you can understand very perfectly. Like what it says, note time, date, person present, photograph and video the scene, draw a layout of the scene, search for node passwords that might be useful, or if possible freeze the system such that the current memory swaps files and even CPU registers are saved or documented. Like CID people does it for physical thing. This is with reference to computers and electronic devices. The same thing which is be done in that particular episode of or series of episode, the same thing will be applicable over here with reference to the documenting of the scene or documenting of the crime scene. The next one is with reference to the IT forensic investigative skills. So what it can done, like what is been you doing and what it does. It says it can, or forensic investigation skills can decrease the occurrence of fraud, can increase the difficulty of committing fraud, can improve the fraud detection method, and can reduce total fraud losses. So this is with reference to the IT forensic investigation skills. If at all we are having investigation skill, then this is the thing that can be done. And for a better understanding, the more you practice all of these things, the more you will come to understand, and the more you will get an idea how things will work. I'll give you a small example. If at all, if you see the education system with reference to your KG until your engineering now, you observe like in LKG and UKG used to study with reference to the using of hands, using of extra things, balls, something like this, so that you can see it and learn it. The way you grow up, like you as the class number increase, your ability to understand that particular thing also increase. Now you will not learn the same way like how LKG UKG people learns. You understand it in a different way. The same thing applies over here with reference to investigative skills. What it does, the more you apply the skills, the more you understand the what you call as the occurrence of the thing, you will get an idea how things will work, and also if at all, if I say you, the best of the thing is like with reference to the way you give your viva. The moment you give your viva, the examiner will understand what is the level of your understanding. With reference to that only, the viva person will be asking you the questions. If at all, if you are perfect with all the things, then you can answer it correctly. Though you have studied all of the things, but you don't have analytical skills, it will not help you in the viva. The same thing applies over here with reference to the investigative skills. The more you apply the skills, the more you will come to know, the more you can reduce the frauds, and you can protect the system and the things. Now next one is with reference to what are the advantages of digital forensics. Now what are the advantages? Here are the pros and benefits of digital forensics. But like I'll read all of these things, you will understand it better way. To ensure the integrity of the computer system, to produce evidence in the court which can lead to punishment of the culprit. It helps the companies to capture important information if their computer system or network are compromised. Next one is with reference to the efficiently track down cyber criminals from anywhere in the world, helps to protect the organization's money and valuable time. Next one is with reference to allow to extract, process and interpret the factual evidence so to prove the cyber criminal action in the court. So this is with reference to the advantages. Now what are the disadvantages of digital forensic? Like everything has an advantage and disadvantage also. So what are the disadvantages here? Here are major drawbacks of using digital forensics. What it is: digital evidence accepted into court, however it must be proved that there is no tampering. This is very important with reference to digital evidence. Tampering is a major thing. The next one is with reference to producing electronic records and storing them in an extremely costly affair. In the sense, see, when you are producing an evidence in the court, you should you can say you should produce the original evidence. When you were capturing the things at the crime scene, the same records should be present in the court, and the evidence that are that are submitted later on should match. So what is the mechanism that is being used here? The technique of hashing is being used. If the hash code matches, then that evidence is being considered admissible in the court. If at all the hash code doesn't match with one another, then that evidence is being considered as tampered evidence. So this is a very procedure and costly, lengthy and costly type of things, which will cost you a lot in the reference to the digital evidence. The moving forward, it says legal practitioner must have intensive or extensive computer knowledge, need to produce authentic and convincing evidence. If the tool used for digital forensic is not according to specified standard, then in the court of law the evidence can be disproved by justice. Like I have said you. Next one is with reference to lack of technical knowledge by the investigating officer might not offer desired result. This is with reference to the disadvantages of digital forensics. Why it is considered as disadvantages? It is because due to the less knowledge with reference to the computer knowledge. Like if at all, if you see the legal practitioners nowadays, they are very much well aware of the the court procedures and all this thing. But the judges and the lawyers who have been studying in who are in their late 60s and 50s, they cannot deal with these particular cases. So that's the reason there is a lack of people who are very much knowledgeable with reference to computers, and they cannot fight the case in the court. So this also is a disadvantage with reference to the digital forensics and digital things. I hope you understood something from today's session. And before what we call as concluding our session, we'll start with our third unit. We'll start over with the third unit. We'll have an introduction what third unit is all about, and we will continue the same in the next session. So this third unit is all about the legal aspect and ethical aspect, and with the deals with the issue of information security, ethical component, and codes of ethic, risk and risk management, and all these things. Now in third unit, the first thing, we'll start with the first part, then we can continue in the next session. It says law and ethics in information security. So what is law? Law is the rule that mandate or prohibit certain societal behavior. Like I have told you that in the previous thing I have told you about the policies and regulations. That is the thing over here. Now what is ethics? Ethics is been defined socially acceptable by the society, or socially acceptable behavior. For an example, like if at all some of the faculty is coming in the class, you all greet it. So that's what you call as ethics. If at all if you are not doing it, it's not a law. Like you all should stand. If at all if you are standing, then it's your ethics. It's your ethics. So that is what we call as an ethics. The next one is with reference to the cultural modes. Like what it is, fixed moral attitudes or customs or of a particular group. Ethics based on these law carries sanction of governing authorities. Ethics do not. Now what do you mean by this is like law is something like which everyone should and must follow, whereas ethics is dependent on all your interest. The more you are very much ethical, the more you will be towards the ethics. The more you are not responding to the things, you are more unethical type of the things. And also here a major part is being played by the cultural modes. Like for instance, I'll tell you In South India, we wear, like, we have a tradition of wearing clothes. In North India, there is a other tradition of wearing clothes. If at all someone says like the tradition of South is not with reference to this particular thing, if at all the South people says that North people dressing sense is not proper, then this does not make a sense. So this is all with reference to the cultural modes. So this also plays a very prominent role with reference to the laws and with reference to the ethics, with reference to the ethics. So I hope you understood something from today's session, and you understood something from today's class. If at all if you have any doubt, please ping me at rahmat_ali@yahoo.com, or we can have a doubt clarification session commonly decided among us. Thank you for listening to the class. See you in the next session. Thank you.